Well, hello there, everybody. Happy hump day. What's up? It is Wednesday somewhere here. I often wonder if it's Wednesday in the universe. It's like, would they even know us? Would they even care? It's like, hey, it's Wednesday down on Earth. Yeah. Anyway, what's up, folks? Good to see you. I think it's so Elderberry. It's your birthday. Happy birthday. Hello, everyone in the chat room. So good to see you as well. And let me go over here and there. So what's up, folks? Good to see you. Great day. It was so bloody hot here for a period of time and dry and, you know, just terrible. But yeah, it's been nice. It's rained, things are green, world is doing good. Hello, the doctor is in the house. How are you doing from Punxsutawney, Pennsylvania? Good to see you. Lisa Van Helly, how are you doing? From Belgium, welcome. Stephanie, good to see you as well. We have Gogo that's from Croatia, and then Jenny and David Barry and so many others. And Susie Q from England. Wow. Robert V Adventures. Hey, change the name. I like that, Robert. Cool. Good to see you, Mary. Hello. Purgatory Traveler, what's up? Shirley and Timothy and Deborah Sloan. Big shout out to Gilbert, who's up there in Sturgis. Sent me some pictures of him, and yeah, Devil's Tower in the background. Yeah. Never been to Sturgis, much less, doing it on a Harley Davidson. But hey, we love you, Gilbert, and have fun with that. And hey, Darlene, good to see you as well. You're never alone. Never alone. None of us are ever alone. If anything, you have your thoughts. I mean, unless you think your thoughts are yours. Did you create them? Don't know. Hey, Truth Seeker. Yeah, favor upon us all. Yeah, I speak that favor because that favor thing, I can do a song like that favor thing really does work. And works, I'm telling you. It'll move space-time. Weird. Nothing missing, nothing broken be in our lives. So I like that reality. You just got to say, hey, that's cool. So anyway, who else is Truth Seeker? What's up, Lori? Hello. Off the hook. What's up? Good to see you, Scotty boy. Lori. So, wow. How many of you seen the documentary? It's over on the Thunderbolts channel, Remembering the End of the World. I guess depending on your perspective and point of view, it does seem like, well, Earth has been in this position before. I don't think it's the Earth's fault. I think it's has to do with much bigger picture. You got this cosmology and the cosmic, and everything is moving and everybody is a dancing. Now I got the B-52s in my head, little Love Shack thing going on. London McLevin, how are you doing? Good to see you, brother. Hello. On Maui, yeah, off the hook. I saw that. Lynn and I got married in Hawaii on the beach. Yeah. We got married right behind, was it Zuckerberg's, or it was someone who thinks they're famous. Yeah. But we appreciated the use of their beach. It was beautiful. But anyway, I digress. Yeah. Wildfires. Wow. Strangeness. Stephen Jacobs, what's up? Good to see you, Rick. Hello, Emperor Rex. Good to see you as well. So, Remembering the End of the World. Check it out if you haven't seen it. So here's my thoughts. We're going to get into the Chiromancy. That's how it's like Chiromancy. Palm. And it's going to be fun. Yeah, we'll have a bunch of experts here. I don't know. It takes years to master the craft, but man, it's old, been around for a long time. But anyway, getting back to the end of the world, remembering the end of the world, it's very apparent that there has been a knowledge that has been obliterated for the vast majority. And the few that find it, it's like the mass majority goes, so what? But it's that knowledge that you acquire and you go, you're never the same. I mean, you walk around in this realm, but you're not like everybody else. I mean, yeah, you're the one red suit or dress in the sea of black. Huh? But the point is, our ancestors saw a different sky. There was something that they knew about the planets, about the stars that, we use today, but apparently not like they really knew something. And apparently the sky was different here. We have been spoon-fed a false narrative. The history of the world is a lie because there's just liars everywhere. And the thing about it is, when they changed it, it propagated this illusion that, for instance, well, you're abnormal if you don't believe in God. Oh, you don't believe in Jesus? You don't believe in the flag? Well, where's your patriotism? Where's your religion, boy? You better get yourself right. Because, and that's propagated amongst everybody. I mean, if it ain't that story, it's one similar to it. And it deals with this false narrative of what we have been taught wrongly of what the beginning of the world was. What was the beginning of us? The ones responsible for us are long gone. It's just my opinion and perspective that I think that's what they do. Many stories in science fiction have been off that narrative, but you got to ask yourself, where did Gene Roddenberry get it? Where did the others get it that there was what we would call a super race? I don't think there was anything super about them. I think it's just, they're long-lived. They acquire it, and they took upon themselves this mission to seed the cosmos, to seed the universe. And that's what they do. They don't have to have a person. They don't, that's part of the myth. All you need is genetic code. The building blocks come within the planet. But anyway, so it's very apparent that, of course, modern astronomy and cosmology would never admit to this, but it's very apparent that Earth hasn't always been where it is. It's not always been around this star. It's very apparent that there was something else going on. We never talk about the aspect that, we are the remnant of this cannibalistic galaxy called the Milky Way. It's consumed a number of smaller galaxies, Sagittarius A, right? Sagittarius B. But anyway, so whatever is about to happen, and I really do believe that there is something, folks. In fact, I wrote this down. Let me see where I did with it. So I think that within probably the next 12 months, I think our world is going to be very, very different. I think something is about to take place. Do I know exactly what it is? I don't know. And I know I'm taking a little bit of time, but hey, we're just hanging out. Here in the United States, we are being censored in more ways than one. But in the mainstream media, that's the one where the zombies go to watch. It's your ABC News, which, by the way, ABC News, what a lousy piece of crappy journalism. When you alter and doctor a tape that you did that, you should be kicked out of the business. Because if there's that kind of stinking type of attitude that runs a news department, that's not news. You're a tabloid, a fiction. But anyway, with the rest of them, they're not showing what's really going on over in that European theater. Watch some footage. Folks, World War III has already started. It's no stopping it. That's an illusion. We're not on the brink of war. We are already at the beginning of something that looks nasty. I can't believe the carnage that has unfolded over there. I saw one field that used to grow wheat. I don't know how many thousands of hectares it is, because that's what they use over there, acres over for us. But the damn thing was filled with blown up tanks, must have several hundred tanks. The freaking turrets are blown off, and you've got armored personnel carriers that are freaking just blown to smithereens. I mean, and you've got all this war machinery that I didn't hear about this battle. I didn't read about it, but yet it's taking place, and it's taking place in the Black Sea. I mean, what the hell, folks? It's already on. And we don't like to think negative things, and, I get it. But here's a little wake-up call. It's here. And it's not stopping. We all need to be aware. And listen, you need to be prepared. Our world is going to change. 2024 is going to be a year. It's going to be a shakeup. I'm just telling you right now. It's going to be a shakeup. So, yeah, Shirley, and it is true. I mean, these cultures have been at war with each other long before we came along. But holy crap, it was jaw dropping. I mean, I'm watching this, and I'm going, they're not showing this on the evening news. You're not seeing this in the Times. You're not seeing this anywhere. Where Congress, where the hell are y'all? Oh, on vacation. Like, you're not on vacation all the time? When do you start invoking the Wars Act here? I mean, we're financing this thing, and folks, people are dying. Human souls are being sacrificed. Anyway, so moving right on along. Hello, Nina. Make sure to tune into her channel. Hey, lady, how are you, my dear? JX marks the spot. April, well, yeah, there you go. Lynn and I will be front and center. It's interesting. We saw the one in 2017. We were up in Wyoming, saw that one, and now we're only 50 miles away from totality on the April 2024 total eclipse. Whoa. And then, of course, X marks the freaking spot. Yeah. So, hey, I don't know if y'all saw this, but give me a second here. And we'll get into the study, just relax. So how many of you have seen this? So this is from the James Webb. Thank you, Jenny. So we got a question mark in space. Apparently it's two galaxies or a star or something, because you can see the galaxies all around it. And that's another thing. How are we able to see this? They say that this is real, but the fact of the matter is, what that is now today, we would have no idea, because that ain't the way that is. It's the way that was, but not the way that is. Anyway, leaves me with more question marks than I have ever had before. So, yeah, go figure that one out, eh? Does anyone know? Does anyone really know what time it really is? Nobody knows. Nobody. I mean, I was meditating and I had this thought come to me, and the question came to me. So exactly where are you in the universe? Now, they tell us we're on a planet called Earth. It's only called Earth because we called it that, but all right. But yeah, and they try to tell us in what they've seen that this is the galaxy and this is where you are. Okay, so where exactly is our galaxy? I mean, exactly where are we in the universe? And then that leads to the question, if we really don't know where the freaking we are in the universe, then how the hell do we know where we are right here on Earth? I mean, where is my essence? I'm trying to figure this thing out now, because there's a much broader perspective added to it. Because if I can be conscious of the fact that I got to say, well, what if I walked out the door and went around the street, metaphorically? How would I know where to come back home to? I mean, if we don't know where we're at, how do we know where we're going? And if we don't know where we're going, how do we really know where we came from? The questions of life. Bonnie says, you are the verse. Well, there you go. Hey, Manifesting Andy, what's up? But hey, Charlotte, good to see you, dear. But anyway, these are the things that, when you meditate, have fun with it. Some people take it way too serious. Righty, so Bonnie says it's a secret. It is a secret, because I don't know. When you think about this whole thing, we're going to get into the chiromancy, but this whole thing about we can see the universe, we can see the earth, we can see the moon, the sun. And then we got to think about, well, where are we spiritually? And that's not a thing. I mean, spiritually, is that all right? So we're either here at a huge banquet with a lot of other spirit entities, a lot of spirit energy. That's what it is. Do you hear the thing about Olivia Newton-John, by the way? I'm tearing in the bus on the road, so the guy in the back saying, hey, dude, would you let us know that before you do that? But digress real quick is that, so Olivia was aware. She was hip. And the story that I read, which I thought was interesting, was that with her daughter, she was really into the paranormal shows. So her and her daughter made this pact, and subsequently with her husband as well. But Olivia said, I will come back as an orb. And you will know it's me because I'm going to be the blue orb. Well, as you know, she struggled with cancer and she crossed over last year. I think it was last year. Yeah. And almost a year ago. And sure enough, they said 2 weeks later, she showed up and has showed up repeatedly. Well, Blue Orb did. I love it. I love it. I love it. That's all I got to say. I want some more of it. Anyway, Xanadu. There you go, Mary. Yeah, a place of dreams. Yeah, yeah, it's cool. I love it. So, chiromancy, palmistry. It's something that I have always been fascinated with. I can remember when I was really a hippie, a nomad. That's what we were. I didn't own a home. When I was 15 and 16, I didn't own an apartment. I didn't own anything. Well, I owned a few things, but I was a nomad. And I never went without a meal. Anyway, it has always fascinated me about my palms. And here are mine, So with the speck on that is not, that's actually ink. Someone said, did you see that? But anyway, and you can see over in this one, there is the cross. Now it's not the X that you see, but it's that cross right there. I mean, many of you probably have them, but it's always fascinating me. Lifeline, heart line, money line, here's one, and I don't know how I can do that, but if you put your hand together, and if you have this heart line, it's a half moon, you can see it, and if you have two of them, and if I had the way to do this to show you, but they actually come together. Now you have to line them up, make sure you're not cheating there, but anyway, so that means something. And throughout my life, I've noticed subtle changes in the lines in my hands. Now I'm hearing Peter Frampton in my hand. I had lines in my face and my hand, Rick, you're right. Palm readings are fascinating. So we're going to get, as a group, I haven't done a series, and so we're going to do a series on learning this together. Yeah. I mean, I think that's pretty freaking cool. A whole tribe that is well-versed in, chiromancy. And it's chiromancy to be the right one. And the reason why chiron is such an easy thing for me to remember, when I was in the video post-production industry, I was marketing and sales. You had to have a chiron. The chiron is the thing that writes all the words out on the screen. So anyway, so let's rock and roll, kids. So we got a number of books I'm going to be referring from time to time. I'd encourage you to get this one. I have really gotten into this. This is a good book, I have to say, in the recommendation, and there's a number of them. So I have some in PDF, some I don't, some are in my Kindle, but I'll try to, share what I have. So the first one we're going to get into is a pretty basic lesson for us all, because everything is connected. You heard the song about the shin bone connected to, but yeah. And it does seem that, I told you what the Old Testament says. It says that God put his individual mark into every person's hand. And that and like our fingerprints, we all have fingerprints, but none of us are the same. So it goes for the palm. And actually it's the hand. So let's just enjoy this. I think we'll just come in here and just kind of read this thing together and have fun with it. So here's the deal. And this is Palmistry, Plain and Simple, the only book you'll ever need, by Sarah Fenton. So you and your friends are enjoying a night out on the town, and you spot an interesting looking guy. But how can you judge on first acquaintance whether he is a lover or a freaking loser? Well, there is a way that you can give him the once-over without him even knowing what the hell you're up to. You detective, you. You can check out his hands, even at a distance of a few feet. Now, ladies, we don't want all want the same thing from our men. I guess that's true. Same thing could be said for us men, right? So what you see might suit you, but not your friend. And what you see may make you feel that this man has the potential to be Mr. Right, or perhaps just Mr. Right for the time being. Hand size, they often said that you can judge a man's parts by how big his feet is. Well, the hands have a lot to do with this as well. So here's what you do, ladies. And guys, you can do the same thing with the gals. Because, there are some gals that got man hands. It's true. I knew this one woman, man. Holy cow. Shake your hand, you go, what the freak, lady? All right, but anyway. Start by observing the size of his hands, bearing in mind the size of the man as a whole. Do they seem to fit him properly? Are they too large or too small for his frame? A discrepancy here means an imbalance in his nature because his hands should have the same connection to the rest of his body. All right, so take notes here. Test will be later on. So he's got small hands. Yeah, small hands. A man with small hands is a busy man, and he works hard. He may be a hot number at sales and marketing, or he may be a clever moneymaker. If the hands are rather hard and firm-looking, he will be able to read a balance sheet at a glance, and he can make a deal. If they are soft, his aptitude will be for sales, marketing, and persuasion. Either way, this man is quite likely to commit to a relationship because he has committed himself to working for a living. Whether he is available or even interested in a long-term relationship remains to be seen. Try to judge whether the hands are rounded, as this denotes sociability and a desire for variety in life. This man makes friends easily, and he has a sense of the ridiculous, but he as easily becomes bored. So you may stay on your toes. You may have to stay on your toes to keep him interested. This guy wants a base, a home, and possibly a family, but he loves to move about in search for opportunities. Entrepreneur. And he may travel as part of his job. He probably enjoys traveling. So even if he has not reached that moment in life where he feels the need to settle down, he could be up for an exotic vacation in good company, perhaps yours. So there you go. So do you have a rounded hand or do you have a square hand? This chap is quick to think, act, move, and make up his mind, but he can change it just as quickly. Sound like a Gemini, doesn't it? But if you do travel with this guy, be prepared to move around. He can lie on the beach only until he has finished reading his book or listen to the ball game on his earphone radio. Once that is over, he will be ready to look around and see what the place has to offer. After 48 hours, he may be ready to go home, get back to work, or find another holiday location. If he disappears for a few hours, he might even have found a new girlfriend. He may, damn, it may be as well to pack some books for yourself because you could spend the next few days alone or with someone else. Dating sucks. That's all I got to say. Man, every time I think about y'all that are single and I guess out in that scene, you may be in the deep end of the pool, but someone's peed in it. You know it. All right. Small, less developed hands. If his hand looks somewhat undeveloped with stubby fingers and a few lines showing on it, he may be very pedestrian. That's an interesting thing. He is unwilling to try anything new or to be too adventurous because he prefers a regular job or a well-ordered life. Unfortunately, he may also have a short fuse due to his inability to express himself. Now, I'm assuming this goes for women. We'll find out. If his hands are more shapely than the elementary kind, and if they look rather firm, this is the hard-working type who could well be on the road to success. If his cell phone rings constantly, he is probably keeping in touch with his office or a string of girlfriends. Is infidelity just this bad? I mean, damn. When it comes to lovemaking, he knows what to do. After all, he has plenty of girls to practice on. Well, okay, the author has every right to express how she sees things. Do not expect him to spend the day after day in languished lovemaking, though, because he gets bored with everything, even his own pleasures. He soon feels the need to get up, look for something to eat, check out the progress of his sports team, phone the office, and even send a text message to his mother or perhaps his ex-wife. He is quick on the uptake, so he will grasp what you tell him in an instant, but he will not want to listen to too long stories or hear about your feelings. His downside is a quick temper, sharp, sarcastic tongue. When he suddenly turns on you, you will wonder whether all of those lovely things he said to you yesterday, this morning, or half an hour ago were true, or whether he really thinks so little of you. However, the sun soon comes out again and you forgive him and all his sweetness and blah, 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 blah. Until the next bout of the aggressive month syndrome. There's a word. Small, soft hands, depending on your nature and your hand shape, you might put up with this in the hope that he will improve, or put up with it until you can drop him. If his hands are small, rounded, and soft, don't expect him to come around and put up shelves for you. He is not into physical activities. Indeed, he may not be interested in any kind of activity. However, he does have a quick and able brain when he chooses to use it. Okay. His hands are large. This is an altogether slower type of man. He is thoughtful and he appears to be really interested in what you have to say. If the hands are square, he has a practical nature. So if your apartment happens to need some plumbing or electrical work, he is worth cultivating. Sure, this man can cope with details, so you could even persuade him to fix your hair braids while he's sorting out your scrambled telephone wires. What a lovely guy. If his hands are slim and fine, he is artistic or musical, and at times he will be completely absorbed in his interest. While this man is interesting to be with on a short-term basis, he may be less ready to settle for a mundane family life. You may end up sitting on the sidelines while he gigs on a Friday night, even though this makes you feel vaguely like a groupie. An artist will always have some etching that he is ready to show you. How interesting. Naughty and knobbly hands. When it comes to lovemaking, it is worth getting in some food and drink supplies. He will snuggle down in your apartment for the duration, so make a checklist that includes cherries, grapes, bottle of wine, and the name of the decent Chinese takeout. He is a good conversationalist, so you can expect to hear all about his work. He doesn't like it much. His ex-wife, she didn't understand him and his success in the backgammon competition. When you've had enough of this, ensure that you have some decent CDs to play. He will appreciate them and you can nod off for a while. If his hands are medium to large and they look knobbly or knotted, especially around the knuckles, he will take his time over things. He is a thinker. While he can move quickly when necessary, he doesn't like to make arrangements without knowing what he is letting himself in for. Regardless of the size of a man's hand, there are a few other things to watch for. If you appreciate a sensitive man who will really hear what you are saying, look at the backs of his hands. If the veins show through, or if they are prominent, this will be a Mr. Sensitivity. The problem is that it is easy to hurt him. He may have learned to protect himself by behaving coldly or by finding ways to trip others up and make them feel like fools. If the veins do not show, he is less into his own feelings and less easy to upset. This makes him reliable, but he may not be too interested in hearing about your feelings. The thick percussion edge. Look at the edge of your hands, which palmists called the percussion. All right. Got that right here, folks. All right. When this is thick and meaty, and especially if it has an outward bulge, very little will shock him. He may lose his temper easily, and he could even become violent if insulted, upset, or if he has had too much to drink. If you want a man to keep you in style to which you are or would like to be accustomed, you must look for one with firm hands, as this is the sign of a hard worker. Soft hands spell self-indulgence, while bony hands that look a bit like chicken feet are too sensitive to cope sustained efforts or stress. Right-handed or left-handed? Is he right or left-handed? This isn't so easy to spot at a glance, but watch to see whether he holds his glass in his right hand or left hand when drinking. If he is eating, see how he uses his fork. If he uses his hands while talking, notice his hand he uses the most. If you get a chance to talk to him, ask him to write something down, or even quite ambidextrous people tend to use their dominant hand when writing. True. I had to learn how to write with my left hand because, well, y'all know the story on this hand. So yeah, right-handed people are in the majority. So if you like an ordinary type of guy whose head isn't full of artistic waffle, this is the man for you. However, you might find an artistic, creative, left field type of person more interesting. In this case, don't throw the left-hander out with the bathwater. The logical, numeric left side of the brain rules right-handed people. So these folks frequently have ordinary jobs and lives, although they may balance this with an unusual hobby. The spatial, pictorial right side of the brain rules left-handed people. So they prefer careers such as, hypnotherapy, art, music, or any creative field. They may have a practical job as a fallback position, but their real love might be playing gameland bells, collecting ancient Greek pots, or psychology. Yeah. Okay. I like that. All right, so we get to find about the ladies now. All right, guys, listen up. It says, those of us who write and publish books on fortune telling know that most of our readers are female, but many of us live with men or have men around. A man will take a peep at our books whenever there is something marginally less interesting to watch on television than a bunch of guys tossing and kicking a leather-covered pig splatter around a field. Okay. I mean, I guess I'm not like the normal guy, because if I see a book like that, I'm going, oh, what's going on here? Lord Byron once said something to the effect that men have many interests, but women's main or only interest is love. That may have been the case in the 1800s, but still holds good today. Having said this, most men do reach a moment. By this, I mean that a man who has been perfectly happy to live with his parents, run around with his friends, date casually, or focus on his work suddenly reaches a moment when the idea of a wife and family appeal to him. Women never have to reach this moment because we are in it all our lives. And guys, there you go. You're learning something, right? Women are usually at the stage of hoping to meet someone, hoping to lose the one they have, trying to get over the loss of someone, or hoping to meet someone new, if you see what I mean. A man may reach one of these moments at any time, perhaps when he is sitting around in the sunshine home of old fogies. However, whether you are at your moment or just looking for someone to while away some of your spare time, the following should help you to find what you want and avoid traps that await the unwary. Did y'all have any idea on this? All right, so ladies, the same large or small hands. The rule here are much the same as in the previous section. In short, a woman with small hands rushes around and gets things done, but she may move on to something or someone else quite quickly. A woman who has large hands is slower, but she is capable of fine and detailed work. She also stays put through thick and thin. Talking about thick and thin, a woman with small hands is more likely to put on weight as she gets older. Some women with large hands can gain weight, but they are less likely to do so. I had no idea. I'm learning something, all right? What will she settle for, guys? Well, the ulnar side of the hand, the opposite side of the thumb, is associated with home, family, relationships, and friends. So if you want a woman who is the old-fashioned kind, who will make chicken soup and run the home well, look for one whose hands are fully developed on the ulna side. The ring and little fingers should be fairly long and the edge of her hand firm. Okay. Learning something. A firm hand belongs to a hard worker who will ensure that her home runs smoothly and that there is enough money coming in to cover the bills. But this woman will also expect some input from you. If you choose a sweet girl with soft, squashy hands, she may be very appealing in the short term, but in time, you might get sick of providing everything for the two of you, especially when she tells you that is still not enough. It sucks. All right, the radial side of the hand. The radial thumb side of the hand is more interested in what is going on in the world. A developed radial side belongs to a woman who is likely to have a career or outside interest. She will not be easy to dominate or control, especially if the index finger and thumb look firm and strong. Wow, okay. There is something unappealing about a woman with bony hands. She seems to want more than any man or anyone can give. Her hands may be medium-sized and angular, which means that she wants to live in a certain style and certainly to travel in comfort. That is fine as far as it goes, but if her hands and fingernails resemble claws, her materialism can reach sky high. I had no idea. Okay. Look at the shape of her hands and her fingertips. Squareness always indicates practicality and common sense. Square and spatialated fingertips show a good mind and an aptitude for playing classical music or for figure work, embroidery, or something else that involves details. This may or may not interest you greatly, but it is always useful for a girl to have a nice hobby. I like some of these enduring values. I think everybody should have a hobby, right? It doesn't take much brain power to see that long, slim hands are artistic and sensitive. It's a fact. We all look at the back of them and see if the veins show, as this will show you whether she will be sensitive to your feelings. If the veins are buried beneath fat or a thick skin, you might as well give up the idea of expressing your feelings. She just won't understand you. Rounded hands are sociable, friendly, accommodating, and fond of vacations, changes of scene, and of life itself. However, this woman can get bored quite easily, so you will have to work hard to keep her interested. Passion. Most men are interested in sex, or at least all of those who have a fully developed little finger are. What? Okay. All right. Never knew that. So how do you find a passionate woman? The answer is not easy because the obvious seat of passion is the famous mound of Venus on the hand. Okay. Ba-ba-ba-bum. If this area of the hand is large, it shows passion for something. While this can be for sex, it can also be for material things such as goods, money, and essentials such as Manilow shoes. One way a woman with a well-developed Venus mound can be a good choice because she lives life to the full. She will work hard to make a nice home and to have money in the bank, but she will also be a loving companion. However, be careful not to judge this mound by the height alone, because a wide mound of Venus is better than a full one. Fullness here suggests self-indulgence and selfishness. And if the mound is high and hard-packed, it denotes a demanding and selfish nature, albeit a sexy one. I keep on hearing that song, by the Spaces, Ooh La La. I wish I knew what I know now when I was younger. Yeah. A cramped Venus mound belongs to someone who will settle for a lot less and who makes few demands. But this woman has a fertile mind and lives in her head. She may prefer to stay at home and live a quiet life. This could suit some men admirably. But if you want a woman who will join you on a nice hike up to Kilimanjaro or on holiday in a longhouse in Borneo, you will be disappointed. A sexually imaginative woman will also have a full Luna mound and possibly a strange pattern in the skin prints. Got my attention. All right. All right. So the mound of Luna would be right over here, right? Yeah. Okay. Now, I know we're dealing with the ladies. I have known women with this mound to take an interest in tetranic sex. Whoa. And other interesting forms of activities. That is an interesting form of activity. If you are into experimentation, this is the girl for you. But if you are a nervous Capricorn who prefers to not encounter too many surprises in the bedroom, perhaps you should avoid this type. Pardon me, I'm having fun in my head. As you've been on this planet for a while, you immediately, you got the memories, and you read something, you go, take a sip of tea, Wayne, and move on. Sensible men prefer an intelligent partner, so look for a long first phalanges on the finger for at least some indication of brain power. Short first phalanges belong to someone who thinks less but possibly achieves more. Well, there's a paradigm. Money and spending. Try this little experiment. Listen to a group of men talking. It doesn't matter where you are at the time, at work, in a social setting, in a cinema, or lining up to get into the gym. Most men talk about money. They discuss the house, the business, car, tools, sports equipment, camping equipment, or mountain biking that they have bought or considering buying. Wow. I'm going to say, okay, that maybe have been back in the time past, but okay. They female shopping is frequent and small in comparison to that of men who think, agonize, talk, and dream about what they want for months. And then when the moon is in a funny phase, they rush out and buy it. All women love shopping. Apart from the periodical run around the supermarket, of course, only a lunatic likes that. I don't know. It can be kind of fun. Depends, I guess, your perspective, right? However, if you need to be sure that your lady will come back from the shops with more or less what she said she was going out to buy, choose one whose thumbs are straight. If the thumbs turn back, she will go out for one thing and come back with something quite different and much more expensive. Interesting. All right, so how many have straight thumbs? How many have the curved thumbs? Sasha here says that she has straight thumbs. So she says, I may deviate from my intention to buy cabbage and come back with a pair of socks in addition. But my first husband, Tony, had very flexible thumb tips. He once went out for a newspaper and bought a house. It was a nice house, though, and we lived in it for 32 years. Well, there you go. Okay. I hope you're finding this fun. It's entertaining, no doubt. Man, again, if I'd only learned this. All right, so let's start mapping of the hand. So now let's consider a few details. The first thing to grasp is that the areas of the hand each apply to a different area of life. Looking at a hand is rather like reading the kind of map that surveys the landscape and shows the features of its terrain. Each part of the hand is associated with a particular attribute or interest in the subject's life. All right, so we have the first phalange, the second, the third with the index. The first finger is Jupiter. The second finger is Saturn. Third one, the ring finger, Apollo. And the small finger is Mercury. It's very interesting. So much astrology in this. I tell you, it's fascinating. I don't care what anyone says. All right. So on the thumb, the tip represents the will. The middle part, now I have three. They're only showing two, but I have actually three on mine. But this is logic. Then the angle of dexterity. So lower Mars between the index finger and the thumb. We have the mount of Jupiter, lower Mars, mount of Saturn, mount of Apollo, mount of Mercury. Over on the Luna, we have upper Mars, the mound of Luna, Pluto, and the mound of Neptune. Okay. So this is the map of the hand. An Indo-European palmistry that we use has links to the planets in astrology, but there are subtle differences between a palmist's view of the planetary connections and that of astrologers. As an astrologer and a palmist, I feel that the palmist's view of the planetary meanings harks back to the early days of astrology. Modern Western astrology has drifted away somewhat from these basics. Here is a brief introduction to the way we view the planets and their associated areas of the hand. So Apollo, the sun, as you can see there, right there, that has to do with artistry, creativity, the family, leisure's activity. Luna, the moon, imagination, travel, and restlessness, creativity, and the unconscious mind. Mercury, communication, work, elementary education, interest, literacy, numeracy, dexterity, health, and sexuality. Venus, luxury, possessions, ownership, love of beauty, passion, friendship, love, affection. Mars, aggressive and assertiveness, courage, enthusiasm, energy, military matters. Well, that's pretty weird. Huh. How interesting. Okay. Yeah, if I'm making you seasick, my apologies. Jupiter, belief, leadership qualities, ego, teaching ability. Saturn, science, study, practical matters, hard work, structure, financial security, old age. Uranus, not yet used in palmistry. I did not know that. Neptune stands for imagination, psychic perception, the bridge between the conscious and unconscious, and a bridge between the spiritual and practical world. Pluto, travel, escapism, restlessness, boredom with ordinary life. She says, I suspect that this has just been tacked on by palmists for convenience sake. This mound sounds much more like the combination of Uranus and Neptune to me. Okay. The mounds. Palmists call the areas on the palm of the hand mounds, despite the fact that some look more like valleys. In this chapter and elsewhere in this book, I occasionally refer to mounds being large, smaller, higher, lower, narrower, or wider than normal. I'm aware that this is hard for a beginner to judge, so I suggest that you line up a half dozens of your friends and see how their hands vary. You will see that most of the mounds are similar on most of their hands, but one person among them will have a mount that is higher and larger than the others, vice versa. This will give you some idea of the difference that you can see in a bunch of hands. And one of the things that it does recommend, wow, I didn't realize the time was almost gone, is that you get a magnifying glass. Yeah. Well, we'll read a couple of minutes into this. So the mount of Jupiter. This mount lies directly below the Jupiter finger. It relates to the ego, self-belief, and the chances of success. It also concerns honesty, wisdom, and idealism. It is good to have a moderate mound of Jupiter, but a high one suggests that the person is so self-centered that he cannot see the needs of others. A high mount signifies an overinflated ego, while a flat one shows a lack of confidence, but also the capacity for hard work. If a cross appears on this mount, it signifies marriages to someone who has money. I was looking down going, okay, I only knew that. There you go. All right, the mount of Saturn. The Saturn area rarely forms a mound. If there is a fleshy area between the Saturn and Apollo fingers, the individual has a certain sense of style and the ability to work hard at something creative. If this area is shallow, that is, if there is very little space between the base of the fingers and the heart line, the subject may be materialistic and unable to show affection or give love. The area is mainly concerned with practical matters such as security, keeping a roof over one's head, money, resources, and to some extent, career and business matters. Lines that run vertically up this mound demonstrate a desire for security and perhaps concern about finances later in life. You know, this is maybe one thing where you could say that, is this prophecy? It's interesting because it certainly seems to have, some sure guidance. So it's interesting, if I look into that, that's interesting. All right. We'll pick up on this tomorrow. We'll talk about the Mount of Apollo. This will be a fun read. There we go. Stop the share. So, mounds has nuts. Exactly. Hey, Jenny, how are you? This is fun. I like this. And if you are a Chiromancy, a palmistist, write me. Love to get you on. This is a fascinating subject. And, just because you are later in life, or the perception, I read this article in the New York Times. They said, what is it about old people that stay young? You know what they found out? Ain't so much of you. Yeah. Anyway, Bonnie, you're welcome. Deborah, this is fun. And it's interesting. Mary Wins, we love y'all too. So yeah, if you do this and if you have knowledge of it, let me know. We're going to continue to pick this thing up. I mean, because like I said, even though you may be down the path, there's still good things. And then it's that question. So are we looking at fate? Is this what we're talking about? Is this the fated destiny that maps our lives out? If we were astute enough that we could learn the signs at an early age and guide your life through? Yeah, I think so. Thanks, Purgatory Traveler. I appreciate it. So, yeah. Jenny, it is. And Jenny, if you want to join me on this anytime, let me know. I mean, this is a fantastic art. It really is. I have such an affinity to it. It's one that, yeah, I can dig this. I want to get better at it. Imagine if you started using this in counseling, and that's exactly what they used to do about 300 or 400 years ago. They did. Doctors would look at your hands first before they'd even begin to make a prognosis of, your ailment. Hey, how freaking cool is that? Okay. Scotty says, well, off to the cold shower. Won't even touch that. Just saying. All right, everybody. Trina, much love to you all. Trina sent me a picture of her hand. This kind of makes sense, doesn't it, Trina? So we're going to get into it tomorrow. This is fun. That's all I got to say. So, all right. Have yourself a fine hump day. Jump over there and check out Nina's channel. I know she does her hump day show. And the rest of y'all, we just love you. Miriam McGriffin, thank you. Well, Jenny, that's far out. You see, this is what I love about this group. I just love this group. I mean, you just want to give everybody a big hug. Yeah. All right, folks. Much love to you. Thank you for hitting the like button. And there you go. Nina put in the chat room, put the link. So, all right, folks. Much love to you. We will see each other on Thursday. Because if I said tomorrow, it's ambiguous. Tomorrow what? Tomorrow the rest of my life. All right. We'll see each other on